Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Hawkeye Season 1, Episode 4, Partners. Am I right? Welcome, everybody. Before I get started here, let me take care of some business first, and then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you don't want to be notified, best thing to do is hit that bell down below, and YouTube won't send you a notification when I come on live. So what you should do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. Also have all the links to my social media on there and all the links to my pages on there as well. All right, let's get started, shall we? Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. All right. Going once, going twice. Sold to the man with the Bengal tiger in the back row. Don't know what for, but anyway. So we left off, of course, with Jack having a sword, the Ronin sword, to Clint's throat while they're in the Bishop household. And of course, that all gets sorted out fairly quickly. Kate lets her mom know and Jack know that they're working together to solve a case. And her mom, Eleanor, seems really, really interested in what the fuck they're trying to do. And yeah, she goes so far as to, when she's escorting Clint out the door, telling him in no uncertain terms, she actually just flat out tells him, drop whatever it is you're doing. Don't look into it anymore. Just walk away from it. Go home to your kids. Fuck off, is what she basically tells him. And yeah, Clint's like, yeah, I can't do that. It's something that needs to be taken care of, so. But he does get the sword back. He gets the Ronin sword back, and that's good news on his part. And of course, Kate does not leave well enough alone and goes back over and joins up with Clint, of course, and tries to give him the holiday, stuff that he's been missing, like the movie marathon and all that stuff. And that's actually what was kind of a good scene, is having them getting drunk off the slushies, the slushy drinks that were inside the freezer, and kind of working things out here that, well, they know that Jack now is the CEO of Sloan Limited, which Kazi works for in the Tracksuit Mafia, and it's basically a money laundering for the Tracksuit Mafia. So he tells her that she's got good instincts, that Jack is rotten, and most likely they have to investigate him a bit further. But in the meantime, they get drinks, and well, they have the slushy drinks, and Clint teaches Kate how to knock somebody out from 20 feet away using a quarter by flicking it, if you will. I don't know if you're a child of the 80s, everyone was doing that, where you're just flipping bottle caps and stuff like that, and you're hitting shit, and yeah. So, but Clint can knock people out. He can turn off TVs, turn on TVs, all that kind of stuff. So, and he teaches Kate how to do that as well. And they need to get the trick arrows back. So, they're locked up, of course, in the New York PD compound, police compound there. And so he sends Kate out to the LARPers, since the LARPers are cops and firefighters, to make a little break in to see if they can get those arrows for them. And Kate makes some new friends with the LARPers. And we're going to see some new costumes out of this as well, which is kind of good. So, well, the other thing I keep forgetting to mention is Jack is actually, he is a comic book reference to, or not a comic book reference. His character in the comics is actually Swordsman. I forgot about this character. This character is like obscure. It's an Avengers character. He actually, Swordsman in the comics, marries Mantis, and they're both Avengers at one point. And Swordsman in the comics actually sacrifices his life to save Mantis against Kang. Yeah, because Kang kind of disregards him as having no powers, so he's like, "Yeah, whatever," and he's focused on all the other Avengers. Swordsman actually takes him down, and then with Kang's, as he's leaving, tries to kill Mantis, and Swordsman steps in the way. So he was a villain to start off with, and then he becomes a hero. And I'm fairly sure now, thinking, the way Eleanor's been acting and things like that, I'm fairly sure that Eleanor is behind, the death of Armand at this point. So, and she might have used one of the swords to frame Jack so that she can. It makes sense now. She's talking about protecting her family and how, how she really wants to protect her family. And maybe what she's doing is she's marrying Jack to get the money, but also killing Armand so that Jack gets that money. And then she frames Jack for Armand's murder. There you go. And then she ends up inheriting that money. She ends up getting all that money because I'm pretty sure that Bishop Securities is not solvent, or Bishop Incorporated, whatever it's called, her security company. And yeah, we also find out that you know, Hawkeye's wife there, Clint's wife, is Laura. I couldn't remember if she was an agent of Shield or not at one point, and I don't think they've actually really said that in the movies or in this series or anything like that. But she speaks German, obviously, so I'm fairly sure. And he had her looking up Jack's connection, yeah, basically Jack's connection to Sloan Limited. And yeah, so I'm fairly sure that she was an agent of Shield. And they find out the Rolex that we saw, back in the first episode there, needs to there's some reason behind it. It used to be somebody's, and it attaches to their identity. So they go and get the Rolex back 'cause there's a tracker in it, and it happens to be in Maya's apartment. Yeah, and when they go, and of course, Kate ends up fighting Maya. Um, Clint, in the meantime, is fighting somebody else on the roof, someone dressed in black. We don't know who she is. And when everyone gets over to the other rooftop and they're all fighting together, the person dressed in black is actually taking down Maya as well and kind of pushing her out of the way. And the person in black doesn't want to kill Kate because obviously she pushes her over the edge, but attaches something to her belt so she'll clip on and not fall to her death. And we find out that that is actually Yelena, Black Widow, the new Black Widow, or the White Widow, as some people have been calling her. And she has been contracted to kill Clint. We also know that Maya she's been tracking Clint as well and has all the names of his wife, his kids, the ages of her kids, his kids, and all that kind of stuff. And so he's also worried about that shit now too. But at the end of all of this, he basically tells Kate, "Get the fuck away from me. Now shit's become real. There's a hired killer after me. They're not after you. Go away. We're not partners. We're not friends. Go." And that's how we leave off on the episode. Now, um, the showrunner for this series has said that episode 5 is probably going to break Twitter, which is next week's episode, which coincides with how everyone's been talking about this within, my podcast here. And everyone being the people that usually are in the chat here, but right now no one's chatting at the moment. We got 3 people, but no one's chatting. That most likely Kingpin is going to be making his debut, uh, re-debut, I guess you could say, to the MCU here in episode 5. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen as well. And I'm looking forward to that, quite honestly. Having Vincent D'Onofrio back as Kingpin, I think it's going to be a good time. And again, we only have 2 episodes left. Really, is what we've got. Um, so yeah, 5 and 6, that's it. And I'm looking at where we're at. Yeah, so the 15th and the 22nd. And then, of course, Book of Boba Fett starts on the 29th. So, yeah. And I am making my way through the whole advent calendar here. I know there are Hawkeye pins in here as well. So I'm gonna pick 2 pins there, and that's gonna be the giveaway at the end of all of this. JC says, I like the scene of Clint talking about best shot and as the one he never took. Yeah, exactly. And it seemed to be very similar to Kate not taking the shot on Yelena. Yeah, I agree with you. She did shoot Maya though. She did shoot Maya. And I did like, they're talking about the trick arrows and all that stuff and boomerang arrow. Why would I want a boomerang arrow? Because it'll come back to you. He goes, yeah, it'll come back to me. She goes, well, you can dodge it. And he's laughing and that kind of camaraderie between them, seeing them kind of building a rapport between each other is actually nice as well. I mean, this series has been doing a good job of showing the street level hero, if you will, that Hawkeye is. He's also, he was a secret agent. He also talks about that as well within this is that, after the blip or, during the blip, I should say pre-blip when his family was gone, they everyone coped in their own ways, is what he said. His was killing a lot of people, doing what he did best, which was finding bad people, researching them, and then killing them. That's what he did. And he said it's tied to him, it's tied to his family, and he needs to go through that to keep it from going to his family. And that's why he's doing this. He's really not doing this for Kate, but as a result, he is doing this for Kate as well because she is tied into all of this, and he doesn't want her to be tied to the Ronin legacy, if you will. She's there by accident. That's all it is. So that was a nice little explanation right there as well. Um, and then the whole thing with Jack again saying, "Oh, thank you for saving the world." He goes, "Don't think about it, no problem," kind of thing. Um, which everyone, that everyone keeps reminding him that yes, he was at this event where he saved half the people on the planet, half the people in the universe. And it's one of those things that keeps popping up and it's a reminder for him. And I think it stings every time someone mentions it to him because of what he did as Ronin. And it just, it's one of those things that is painful for him. It really is. I have to admit, I there was one thing that I really want out of this episode, and that was the cup that he was drinking out of, which said Thanos was right. I think I'm gonna look for that next. That actually made me really fucking laugh. I actually had to rewind it because I was like, "Did I just see that?" And I rewound it and I started laughing because it was actually pretty funny. It really was. Um, So good stuff. I'm looking forward to next week. This series has just been fun, is really what it has been. It's been it's been a joy actually watching this series. It's not you know, there's not a lot of theory going on in that. There's not a lot of going, "Oh my god, that sucks. Why are they doing this?" Any of that. Um it's just it's really a joy is really what this series is. It's something that is nice to watch and fun. JC says, do you think Yelena really tried to kill Clint or capture? Seemed like she could have done it before engaging in the fight. I'm thinking she's there. I'm fairly sure that Kate's mom Eleanor hired her to kill him because that's what she warned him. She said, drop the case. Drop the case. And when he said, I can't, that's when Eleanor's like, well, okay. She made her little phone call. And remember when she made the phone? Well, she did make the phone call. We actually saw her make the phone call. And all we got was a little beep. And then she left the message. So there you go, right there. So it's not there to capture him. She's there to kill him. But I'm fairly sure Natasha already, trained Clint to fight like she does, and that's why he's all banged up though too, because he still doesn't fight as well as she does. But yeah, if Kate hadn't come back when Maya and Yelena were actually beating the shit out of him, and I think he would have been taken down. Yeah. So good stuff. Looking forward to next week. And what else do I have going on the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow I'm off. Friday is a double header, which is going to be nuts. But I've got first is going to be the Wheel of Time. That's right, the Wheel of Time. I'm going to try and shoot for 5:30. See if that'll happen. And then it's going to be The Expanse season 6 episode 1 at 6:30. So it's going to be back to back at this point. Damn Amazon, they couldn't put it on a different night or something like that. No, they had to put them on the same night. Yeah. Anyway, Saturday is going to be Saturday morning blast off where I take the genre news of the weekend and your genre stuff you guys want to talk about. We talk about it. Sunday is going to be a day off. I'm going to take a day off there. Monday may or may not be, spoiler alert. I'm still debating on that at the moment. Just check the listing. You'll see what goes on. Tuesday is going to be Is It Worth My Time? And again, I forgot to tell you what it is because I know what it is. It's in my calendar there. I just don't have my calendar with me. And then, of course, Wednesday rolls back around again to Hawkeye. And there we go. So, with that said, thank you to everybody who has been watching. JC, thanks for being in the chat there. I will see you guys again on Friday. So until then, oh, well, what am I talking about? Let me plug myself here while I'm doing this stuff. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my fast video library and pops up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you don't want to be notified of when I come on live, hit that bell down below. It's a 100% chance of YouTube not notifying you. So what you should do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also, all the links to my social media are on there, and all my links to my pages are on there as well. All right. So with that said, thank you everybody. I'll see you again on Friday. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find out that you have a hired killer now after you, and it's just not a good thing. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you again on Friday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care. Wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get those flu shots as well. And I'll see you again on Friday. Have a good night, everybody. See you then. Bye. Bye.